Chapter 1, the idea that sparked it all. Elon Musk sat in his expansive office, staring out the floor-to-ceiling windows of SpaceX's headquarters. He had just finished reading an article about the increasing economic divide and the treatment of the homeless in America. His mind, always craving experimentation, fixated on one thought: how do businesses treat those who seem to have nothing? His fingers tapped against the desk as he formulated a plan. What if he went undercover as a homeless man? Not just for the experience, but to test the humanity of everyday businesses, especially a cafe that claimed to welcome all. He called his personal assistant, Jessica, and laid out his idea. "I need a disguise. Something that will make me completely unrecognizable," he said, his voice tinged with excitement. Jessica, accustomed to Musk's unpredictable requests, hesitated for only a second before responding. "How homeless are we talking?" Elon grinned. "The kind people cross the street to avoid." A team of makeup artists and wardrobe specialists were assembled within hours. They studied photos of street dwellers, noting every detail: the tangled hair, the layered and mismatched clothing, the weary expressions. They would not only change Musk's appearance but also teach him the mannerisms of someone who had lived on the streets for years. That night, as he looked at himself in the mirror, Elon barely recognized the man staring back. Chapter 2, From Billionaire to Beggar. The transformation was thorough. His normally well-groomed face was now covered with artificial grime, wrinkles carefully added to make him look older and exhausted. His signature hairstyle was hidden beneath a matted gray beanie, and his clothes, ripped jeans, an oversized hoodie, and worn-out boots, looked like they had seen better days decades ago. He even carried a battered backpack with a few crumpled newspapers and a broken radio inside, adding to the authenticity. As he stepped out onto the streets of Los Angeles, he tested his disguise. He walked past a group of businessmen, people he would normally exchange nods or conversations with. They didn't even glance at him. He tried making eye contact with a well-dressed couple passing by. They looked right through him. He realized, in that moment, how easily society ignored those who looked like they had nothing. The journey to the Golden Bean Café was revealing. Along the way, he encountered people avoiding him, some clutching their bags tighter as they walked past. He had never experienced this kind of invisibility before. Approaching the cafe, he hesitated for a moment before stepping inside. Would they treat him like a customer? Or an unwelcome presence? Chapter 3, the test begins. Stepping inside, Elon was immediately greeted by the scent of fresh espresso and pastries. The interior was warm, with polished wooden tables and soft jazz playing in the background. The hum of conversations created an inviting atmosphere until he approached the counter. The young barista, Lexi, who had been chatting enthusiastically with the previous customer, barely concealed her distaste as she looked him up and down. The transformation in her demeanor was instant. The friendly, customer service smile she had given moments ago vanished. Can I help you?" Her tone was devoid of warmth. Elon hesitated, keeping his voice low and raspy. "Could I just get a small coffee? I don't have enough right now, but I can pay later." Lexi scoffed. "We don't do tabs here." She turned away dismissively, acting as if he was wasting her time. Behind him, a customer muttered, "Great. Another one." Elon felt a mixture of irritation and disappointment. But before he could respond, another employee, a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and a warm presence, stepped in. "Don't worry about it," she said, handing him a steaming cup of coffee. "It's on the house." Elon met her gaze, taking mental notes. Two very different reactions in the same cafe. One dismissive, the other compassionate. The contrast was glaring. Chapter 4, the unexpected twist. Elon sat in the corner of the cafe, sipping his coffee and observing. He watched as Lexi continued to treat customers differently based on their appearances. A man in a tailored suit got a beaming smile and enthusiastic service, while another casually dressed man received barely any acknowledgement. After 20 minutes, Elon decided it was time to reveal himself. He stood, walked back to the counter, and pulled out his phone. The moment he unlocked it, the familiar Tesla wallpaper flashed on the screen. Lexi's eyes widened as she glanced down at it. Then he removed his beanie, running a hand through his now mussed hair. The barista's face drained of color as realization dawned. "Oh my God," she whispered. "You're Elon Musk," he finished, his voice no longer rasping. The cafe fell silent. Chapter 5, The Consequences. Lexi's manager, who had been in the back, rushed out, his face shifting from confusion to sheer panic. "Mr. Musk, what brings you here?" "An experiment," Elon replied, placing the empty coffee cup on the counter. "I wanted to see how people are treated when they have nothing." The manager's gaze darted to Lexi, who looked as if she wanted to melt into the floor. "Sir, she stammered. "The way you treat people matters," Elon interrupted. "The kindness of one employee saved the reputation of this place. The cruelty of another almost destroyed it." He then turned to the woman who had given him the free coffee. "What's your name?" "Susan," she said hesitantly. Elon smiled. "Susan, how long have you worked here?" 10 years. "Not anymore," Elon said. Her face fell, until he continued. "Because as of today, I'd like to offer you a position at one of my companies." The room gasped. Lexi's mouth fell open. "I could use more people like you," Elon said simply. Chapter 6, The Viral Aftermath. Within hours, the story spread across social media. Videos of the interaction, secretly recorded by customers, went viral. Some praised Musk for exposing the hypocrisy, while others debated the ethics of the experiment. One thing was undeniable: the Golden Bean Café was now infamous. Its Yelp reviews plummeted, and Lexi quietly resigned within days. As for Susan, she accepted Musk's offer and soon found herself working at Tesla's headquarters in a managerial role. When asked about the experience, she simply said, "Kindness always pays off in ways you never expect." Elon, back in his usual attire, reflected on the experience. One test. One cafe. One undeniable truth. How you treat people when they have nothing says everything about who you are.